Today, a very special episode of the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast. And howdy there, friends and neighbors. It's Ray Dawson, Associate Broker with ProStar Realty, and this is episode 19 of the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast. Today we're going to be covering the numbers as usual, and the main focus of today's episode is going to be people who do not address things up front when they need to, and instead they push it off. And you see this a lot in housing and stuff like that. It's the house that has missing shingles. And they leave missing shingles. They know they have a roof problem. They put it off, they put it off, they put it off. And then the monsoons hit, and next thing you know, they have an insurance claim because their roof collapsed. I personally suffered from this because I had issues with my carport that I put off for a couple of years until the point where it's like, okay, now we're throwing some real serious money at it. But this is not necessarily a housing issue, and this is something that's going to be completely unrelated to housing. Because I want to show you guys something. All right, check this out. Ooh, everybody just got really excited. See that right there? Need some better lighting in here so you can really pick that up. Let me see if I can get that turned around. Yeah, okay. That's just not going to show up that good on the camera. So, how about this one? Can you see that? Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, I got a bunch of stitches in right there. Now, I had a medical procedure this week to sort of threw my whole schedule off. And today we're going to be discussing the procedures. Nothing too big, or maybe it is. Today what we're going to talk about is those little spots you have on your body and why you need to have them checked out. Now, I'm sort of kind of fortunate that when I was at a young impressionable age, a guy I know died. Guy I knew off and on, more of acquaintance, sort of friends, and he wound up passing away from skin cancer when he was 32. And I was in my mid-20s or something like that. And the very concept that somebody that young could die from something that's like cancer just threw me for a loop. So I pretty much had a dermatology appointment the next week. And since my mid-20s, I have been going to the dermatologist about once every 6 months or so. A couple years there, we got it down to once a year. But after, last year and the COVID and everything, I finally got to go to my dermatologist. And it was time to start removing some parts. Because, every time I go to the dermatologist, and as you can tell, I'm not ashamed to show you, I got these little spots. You can see them like right over here and up over here. And these are just things that I was born with. I've pretty much had them for forever, at least as long as I can remember. In fact, some of these I can literally say, like this one right here, doesn't bother me because it's been there freaking forever. I'd show you others, but I'm really trying to keep this a family-friendly podcast and everything. So, because I've been hyper aware of this thing, I have been very, very serious about making sure my spots don't move, migrate, organize a rebellion against me, which is ultimately what we're trying to stop here. So I'm going to take today's podcast episode and explain to you the ABCDs and now E's of skin cancer and your skin. Let's start with a few facts. Number one, we live in Phoenix, Arizona. Or maybe you don't, and you're just watching from somewhere else. But here in Phoenix, Arizona, we're pretty much a skin cancer capital of the world. All right. Everybody has swimming pools. We stand outside in the sun all day. We bake. We get nice tans. We all have a really good time. A couple years later, you start getting some spots. Freckles are fine. Spots are a little bit different. So, the medical profession has come up with a little heuristic to make sure everybody remembers what's the difference between a freckle, a mole, and something more serious, right? And they used to use the term ABCD, right? And when I was researching this this project, found out that they've added another one, and I completely agree with it, right? So let's start this out. The ABCDs, E's of your skin, all right? So these are the ways that you remember ways that you can use when you're looking over your skin, looking at somebody else's skin. Medical professionals out there say that you should do this every month. I mean, let's be honest. Most people don't brush their teeth every day. I know you're lying. Some of you guys get really close to me, or at least floss twice a day or after every meal. How many people actually do that? Right. But this is something that you can be aware of. It's a really good time to check it over in the shower when you're washing. And if you have a partner, hopefully you have a partner, have your partner look at your back. All right, you can't see back there, they can. So this is something everybody should do. It'd be perfect if everybody did this on Valentine's Day. All right, come to think about it, if they made Valentine's Day like Skin Cancer Appreciation Day, going, hey, check your partner out during that, I think we could get somewhere with that. But so starting with asymmetry. Asymmetry is the shape of the one half of the mole doesn't match the other. I would really, if I was good at this, I'd be showing you a picture of one right now, but I started going through that, and it's actually pretty gross. It would make this longer than I wanted to. But if you have a mole that's not round, and let's say it's jagged, misformed, that's one of the things that's starting to talk about. Asymmetry. All right. Does it not look round? Is it not equal on both sides? All right. Next one we're looking at is we're looking at the border. Okay. B is for border. Right. That's the edges of a mole that are ragged. They're blurred. They might be notched. If you look at them really close, you'll start seeing the pigmentation, the coloration just is not a clear cut. You can see maybe it looks like it's moving into the other skin. That's one of the other warning signs. All right. Third one that we have on this is going to be color. All right. If it varies from one part of the mole to another, all right, it can go from black to a brown to a tan. You might have red elements in there, blue, pink, white, or a mixture of any of these colors. If it's not one overarching color, that's also a warning sign. All right. And the fourth one, D, is diameter. All right. Now they're saying a mold width of 6 millimeters or larger, which is the size of a pencil eraser. Melanomas can be smaller than that, right? But anything bigger than the size of a pencil eraser. And for you kids out there who have never seen a pencil and don't know what a pencil eraser look like, figure about the size of the home key on your phone, right? That is actually a little bit bigger. But so definitely if you have something that size, but they're looking at the diameter. And then the fifth one that they've just come across, for E, is evolving. Is it looking different than your other ones? Is it changing over time? All right. Is it changing size? Is it changing shape? Is it, changing color? Is it changing texture? Or if it starts bleeding or itching. The other thing you might want to look on like things is, I was joking earlier when they move. Okay, moles don't move. All right, that's just a joke. All right, but if you are looking at it and it's like, hey, funny, that looks a little bit different this week. Take a look at that one. One of the tricks that they taught me to do is take out your phone and take a picture of it. Make sure you hold the phone at the same distance as you did last time. Make sure that you did, using the same lighting, same coloration, and start comparing the two. All right, are you seeing any kind of evolution going on in that? Now, I don't want to scare you guys all to death because I'm pretty sure every one of you guys has at least something out there that you could look at and go, whoa, 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 what's up with that? And a lot of times when these lists come out, if you're like a serious hypochondriac like myself, you instantly start experiencing the symptoms of whatever they're talking about. All right? I had an ovarian cyst once for a week and a half until my wife pointed out to me that was physically impossible. Right? I'm that kind of hypochondriac. But for when you see something like this, the next time you're at your doctor, right? You should, next time you're at your doctor's appointment, point these things out. I have so many of these on my body that the day before I go into the dermatologist, I will literally take a magic marker, all right, and sit there in front of the shower, and I will mark every one I want them to look at, all right? Make sure you draw the circle wide so you're not actually covering it up. But that's what you don't forget. And it's taken me, many, many years because, you go in there and it's like you get the appointment, you get sat down, they go through everything. Your dermatologist will literally go over you with a magnifying glass. All right. And it's going to be a process. And you might forget the one on the back of your calf when you get into the conversation about the one on your stomach. All right. So go ahead and hit them with a magic marker. Maybe keep a little journal. I've done that before. I will keep a journal going, it's like left side right above my hip. Let's take a look at that one. So these are the tricks that I use, right? And like I said, I go through this every 6 months. It's kind of a process, you know, I'm really comfortable with now because I've had this done a lot. At one point in my 20s, my back literally looked like somebody shot me with a shotgun. I had so much scar tissue going on back there, and they fade over time. And like just the other week, I was looking at one. Oh wow, yeah, I forgot I had one removed there, and that was probably about a decade and a half ago. If they do decide something that they're going to look at, all right, and this is where I need to start throwing the little asterisks up there. Ray is not a medical professional. I do not want to play one on YouTube. What they wind up doing, and I've had every procedure known to man pretty much at this point, is a lot of times they're just going to do a shave. All right, they're going to take a little needle, you know, pop it up underneath your skin. All right, it's going to be filled with lidocaine. The lidocaine's going to numb the pain. The lidocaine is the part that hurts the most, right? Just like when your dentist says, "Oh, you're going to feel a little pinch," right? You're going to feel a little pinch, right? And then they're going to take a razor blade, they're going to take it a little bend, and they're literally going to shave off the raised area from the lidocaine that's popped up. You're going to put in a little vial, run it off to the lab. The first couple times this happens, you are just going to be convinced, "Oh my God, this is the big one," right? And then they'll come back and they say, "Oh yeah, you know, atypical, da 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 da, or whatever." I've heard the terms atypical so many times they'll make your head spin. My only question I have for the dermatologist nowadays when they call me back with the test results is, did you get clear borders? All right, and what that is when they shave that down, they're going to run it over the lab. They're going to cut up little parts, look at it underneath the microscope, and when they look at it, they can tell when it starts and when you get healthy skin. When you don't get healthy skin, which means they didn't get all of it, that means that you don't have clear margin and stuff like that, and you're going to have to go back in there and have another hit. So this is pretty much going to be, 90 to 95% of the times, if there's anything that they feel they need to move, they're going to do a shave. Sometimes for the smaller ones, they'll do what's called a punch. All right, and same thing, we're going to lidocaine. All right, they're going to take this little thing, sort of looks like a pen. And when you push that pin out, instead of, all right, what's going to come out is a little round circle of metal. All right, and what they do is they go like this, all right, and they're literally going to carve a punch into your skin. You don't feel a thing. Or like I said, what you felt was the lidocaine going in. Then they're going to take tweezers. They're going to pull up that little plug that they just carved out, and they're going to snip it off. And if it's big enough, they're going to whip a stitch in there. Right? Same thing. They're just taking the skin sample. They're just removing that little part of your body. Right. Other ones that, that might come up on that is, sometimes they don't stitch. Sometimes they'll cauterize. You smell funny when you burn. So they'll cauterize it and they're throwing a stitch in. Sometimes literally they just throw a bandage on there and you have a scab for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Right? Which is a pain in the butt. These two particular ones that I got, they were both originally done as shaves. Right? They both came back weird. Right? This one was just, wow, that's seriously abnormal. That's all they had to say about it. It's seriously abnormal. And it's like, yeah, just like the rest of me, just like my personality. All right? This one over here was a little bit serious. All right? And so that's why they took so much out. All right? And, they've been working on this kind of treatment for quite some time. And they know, hey, if it looks like this, we go this deep, we go this wide. Right? If it's one of these things, we're going to go this deep and this wide. And that's pretty much the process, right? If something pops bad after that, I have no idea what the hell we do from there because I haven't gotten that far yet. But this is something, living in Arizona, if the bad drivers don't get you, there's a chance that this is going to come up. So I really wanted to get this information out there because it seems to be my theme of the week. And just from talking to people who are not medical professionals, most people don't know this information. All right? I'm very proud of myself that one day I glanced over at somebody's leg and said, hey, what's that? And they said, oh, da-da-da-da-da. And I said, get that checked out. All right? Later on, they had it removed, and it actually was something. All right? I saved a life. I feel so good. So spread this information around. Spread this video around. All right. There's a lot more information out on the websites. Right. Talk to your doctor about it. Talk to your doctor about it. Once again, asterisk. Let's be obvious. I'm a real estate agent. All right. I'm just a real estate agent with a lot of experience of having people carve on my body and take off the rotten spots. All right. Go do your own homework. Talk to your own medical professional, and do not try this at home. All right. This is not something you're just I'm just going to take that off anyways, and go to town on it, right? If it is something bad, if it actually turned into something bad, you're not going to be able to tell what it is, right? The doctors tell you what that is, right? And then they figure out if they need to do a treatment program afterwards. Just because you carved off the offending mole that you did not like because it was blowing your tan line does not necessarily mean that you just fixed the problems. You actually could have made it worse. It's the body's equivalent of when you paint over the termite infestation and you don't kill the termites. Notice how I just brought that back to real estate? So thank you much, guys, and here's the numbers. Now for the numbers for June 9th, 2021. As we can see, our active is 4,932, which is up 202 from last week. Our under contracts looking for backups is 1,207, which is up 32. Our pending is 2,014, which is up 223. And our offers with buyer's contingencies are at 88, which is up 13 from the week before, leaving us with a closed of 2,312, which is down 574 from the week before. So what we can see with these numbers is the impact on the holiday last week. You can definitely see it over here in the pendings. Less properties went under contract. All right. Our actives are still up though, and our coming soons are at 1,000. And our close, reflecting the end of the month that was shown on last week, is at 2,312. So what we're seeing on this whole thing is we see the normal monthly transition. End of the month, it always has a surge and closed. We can see the impact of last holiday with more properties coming on. And once again, I need to start tracking the properties coming in because with all of this activity going on, we still gained an extra 202 listings. So really good news. I'm expecting to break 5,000 next week. And this is definitely going to be what buyers want to be seeing right now. And that wraps up this week. On this particular one, I generally don't do that like, share, subscribe, that everybody else does it when they're wrapping up their channels and whatnot. But if you can, I would appreciate it if you shared this particular episode. I think this is information I'd really like to see more people get. If you want, ask me. I could probably just cut out the important parts and drop all the real estate stuff out and maybe come up with a more streamlined, shareable copy of this. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Take a look at yourself, take a look at your friends, take a look at your family, and spread the word. Thank you very much for watching.